making sure the American people understand exactly how radical the agenda and the policies are of our colleagues on the other side of the aisle. With that, I will yield to our whip.
Thank you, Liz. Thank all of you for coming. Good morning. We had a really good meeting with President Trump and Vice President Pence yesterday in the White House to talk about the remaining issues that we have to address this year. And there's some very serious issues, and it starts with border security. If you look at what's happening right now at the border with this caravan, and it started with thousands of people coming over, not from Mexico, but from other countries through Mexico, literally stormed Mexico's southern border, and then came through and now are attacking law enforcement officers at our border. This is why border security is so important for this country. This is why President Trump is standing up to protect America's security at the border. But we had Secretary Nielsen come and talk to the WHIP team yesterday, and she made some very interesting points that I don't think have been laid out there before. First of all, there are more than 600 convicted criminals that are part of the caravan that we know of. There might be more, but we know that there's at least 600 convicted criminals part of this caravan. We also know that every member of the caravan was offered asylum, and not just work permits, but jobs, offered work permits and jobs by Mexico. So if somebody's truly seeking asylum, they were already offered that by Mexico. And there's also a legal path that President Trump's been very clear about to come to this country to seek asylum. There's a legal way and an illegal way. And what the president has been encouraging is go through the legal process. Don't try to storm our borders and attack our border protection officers. Go through the legal process. But clearly, you're seeing what's at stake here. And also, by the way, it was pointed out by Secretary Nielsen that on an average, every single day, the Department of Homeland Security stops at least 10 known terrorists from entering the United States every single day. That's why it's so important that we protect our border. That's what's at stake in this debate in these next few weeks. Now I'll yield to our soon-to-be minority leader, but currently the majority leader, Kevin McCarthy.
I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. As Liz and Steve talked about, we still have work to be done. The things that we want to wrap up, one is the Farm Bill. And if there's a lot of elements in the Farm Bill that's important, but especially when it comes to California and the wildfires, the forestry, how we deal with the forest, our ability to be able to clean out a lot of that brush would be very important. The president, I traveled with the president out to Paradise. Don't know if any of you followed that fire, but more than 80 lives were lost. We went down to Malibu as well. We had Governor Brown and Governor-elect Newsom to join with us. We want to work together to make sure this does not continue with the amount of fires that are happening in California. Secondly, also we've got to deal, as if you watched our tax package, we've got extenders and others and cleanup items to move through. Kevin Brady's worked on that, put that forward. And then we have a few of our appropriation bills still to get done. One actually will deal with the border, and we've seen what is happening along the southern border. We know we need security down there. I think this is a place that the election is over. I hope the Democrats could find a way now to put politics aside, to actually put people before politics. We had 2 bills on the floor earlier this year to deal with immigration overall, but not one Democrat would vote for that bill. Even though many of them talked to me personally and said they would like to, I'm hopeful now that that changes and that we can solve this problem and make sure our borders are secure. And everybody realizes our immigration system is broken, that we can solve this problem once and for all.
It's good to see all of you. So I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. We're coming up on the close of one of the most productive Congresses in recent memory. 2 years ago, we took a hard look at what was holding our communities back, and we came up with very thoughtful policy solutions. Those policies have delivered results. There may be no better example than historic tax reform. Week after week, we've told stories of economic resurgence that this country has experienced. It goes beyond the economy, too. Years of work went into legislation to bring true reforms to the Veterans Administration, to veterans health care. We passed policies to secure new opportunities, including overhauling the career and technical education system so we can close that skills gap and get people to the careers that they want to get. We're back on the path to rebuilding our military. This year, we've already funded 75% of government. That means funding for the military, for veterans, for health, for labor, for education programs, to name a few, are already in place. The most that has been done on time before the deadline in 22 years. So we've accomplished quite a bit, and our nation is very much the better for it. Our nation is safer. Our nation is stronger for it. We have an opportunity in the next coming weeks to get a few more things done, to get some good things done. We want to reform our criminal justice system, to give people another shot at contributing to their communities. We're still working on our farm bill. We're getting very close on the farm bill. We've got bipartisan initiatives to build on the success of tax reform. These are outstanding issues, and of course, as you can see, we want to secure our border. It's very important for the national security of our country that we actually secure our border. So in the next few weeks, we're going to continue to work to create a more prosperous, more confident, more secure America, and that's what we intend to do. Does anyone have any questions?
Speaker Ryan, is there, Democrats, particularly on the Senate side, they're still negotiating about what might be necessary to keep the government funded in these last spending bills. Is there anything that you could see passing out of the House while Republicans are still in control that doesn't have the president's $5 billion for the wall?
The House has the president's $5 billion in the wall, and the House, obviously, you know, the House is there. We've never been the issue here. Our bill contains the president's full request for the border, but ultimately, the president and the Senate Democrats are going to have to come to agreement as well. As you know, this takes 60 votes in the Senate. Therefore, Senate Democrats have a say-so in appropriation matters. And so I think what we're going to have to do is just sort all of this out between all the parties that are involved.
So if they come to an agreement that
I'm not
doesn't
going
get
to
the
negotiate
$5
to the
billion?
press. That's a foolish thing to do. But what we'll have to do is come together. I think hopefully after like Kevin said, hopefully after the election, Democrats realize a secure border should not be a Republican thing. It shouldn't be a Democrat thing. It's just good for the country to actually secure our border. The House is there. We hope the Senate comes with us.
Should Congress pursue any kind of formal sanction of Saudi Arabia for the killing of Khashoggi or for its actions in Yemen?
Look, well, I won't get into the Yemen issue, only to say that Iran bears a lot of responsibility, and it's in our national security interest to contain Iran and their proxy wars and their pursuit of nuclear weapons. With the Khashoggi case, it's very important, I think, that we speak with moral clarity. Realpolitik is very important, but realpolitik works if you do so from a position of moral clarity. And with respect to holding people accountable, we need to do that. I'm not going to get into the classified briefings that we've received. We have actually requested from the administration to come and give a briefing to all members of Congress. So I'm hoping that we get the administration to come here in the next week or two to brief members on what our intelligence community knows about this case. That means there's more to find out and there's more to do on that.
When you say moral clarity, do you mean that the president needs to back up the CIA's findings?
I think for our national security, we always need to stand up for our values. We always need to stand up for our interests. And when you're practicing realpolitik, you also have to stand up for American interests, and those two do not necessarily have to collide with one another.
Just following up on the wall question, Mr. Speaker, based on your meeting with the president yesterday, it sounds like he is very firm on the $5 billion, which I understand you guys have. But could you just provide us any suggestion of how you bridge the gap between the 1.6 and
Again, I just don't think it's in our interest to be negotiating through the media. We're talking with Homeland Security, we're talking with OMB on what kind of resources they need to do what they need to do. And that also means that our appropriators have to sort this out with themselves and the White House along with the Senate, which is clearly the obstacle here because they take a 60-vote threshold.
Of course, Mr. Speaker, thank you. Not on inside negotiations here, but looking further out.
You think I'm going to do that, don't you?
Why not just approve a CR into next year and make this wall issue Democrats' problem if they can't agree with the
Because we
president?
still want to solve problems. We're elected to work for our constituents. We're elected to solve problems. And look, turn on the TV. You can see we have a problem at the border. So we want to secure our border. The House Republicans have always wanted to secure the border. The House Republicans have been passing bills to secure our border. And I'd like to think that Democrats would also want to join us in securing the border, especially after the election.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see
Good
all
to see
of you.
all of you.
Yeah.
Try not to have a stampede out there all at once.